a lengthy new social media tirade, 27 posts on Truth Social in just over 5 hours, from bragging about his accomplishments to posting videos of bizarre stunts and fake AI pictures of Democrats in prison jumpsuits. Politico's headline reads, "May I have your attention?" suggesting an attempt to distract from what Trump now calls the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. What we know for sure is that President Trump has not been able to shake this controversy. The latest reporting from the New York Times, and it could help explain how Trump comes to factor in to the Epstein files. The story involves a former Epstein employee who says she had a troubling encounter with Trump back in 1995. She says she told the FBI about it on 2 separate occasions, while also urging them to take a broader look at the people in Epstein's orbit. We should note that woman also told the Times she had no evidence of criminal wrongdoing by Epstein's associates, never saw Trump engage in inappropriate conduct with girls or women, and never had another alarming interaction with him. But the incident does underscore the lingering questions around the relationship between Trump and Epstein. I want to bring in NBC's Garrett Haake at the White House. Michael Schmidt is the investigative reporter with the New York Times who wrote about Epstein's accuser. Sarah Ellison is the democracy reporter at the Washington Post. And Reed Galen is an independent political strategist and co-founder of the Lincoln Project. So, Michael, this incident that you write about being, was allegedly happened in 1995. Tell us more about it and what made this former employee go to the FBI in the first place.
This woman was one of the, if probably not the first person to blow the whistle on Jeffrey Epstein back in the 90s, reporting him to the NYPD and later to the FBI. What this woman described to us was how in those interactions with the FBI in the 90s and then again a decade later, she recounted to the authorities about an interaction she had with Trump, where Trump was in the room with her and Epstein. He kind of stood in front of her in an awkward way, and Epstein took him out of the room, and she overheard Trump saying that she looked like she was in her teens. There was nothing about that incident in and of itself that was criminal. The woman did say to the authorities that she wanted them to look into Epstein's ties to powerful men like Trump and Bill Clinton. But what we're trying to show in this story, in this anecdote, is how during a decades-long federal investigation in which many different witnesses are spoken to about a range of different things, investigators are going to soak up a lot of different information, a lot of different stories, a lot of different tips, a lot of different leads, a lot of different facts, not necessarily being criminality, but just different things that live in investigative files. It's those types of details that Trump's allies and supporters have really been after. They want to know everything there is to know about Jeffrey Epstein and his ties to powerful people. And in this story, this woman's account to the authorities is an example of that type of anecdote, that type of information that is soaked up in a federal investigation. You have to remember, just a small portion of what investigators collect during any federal investigation, especially one that goes on over decades, is ultimately used in court and subjected to cross-examination and is presented, with a judge overseeing the whole proceeding. In the case of Epstein, there was no such, opportunity for a lot of this information to be aired, but there are lots of different pieces of information kicking around these files in the bowels of the Justice Department.